Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of By Accident or Design, a small snackable series where we find all the wow moments and everything in between from leaders, thought leaders, experts in their fields. And today we have Amir Cohen from Monday.com. Amir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me with you.
Okay, so let's jump into it. I know that you are a partnership manager for Monday.com. You've had experience in that role for a while. So some of the questions I'm going to ask you are definitely going to pertain to that. And first up is how has product led partnership changed over the years, especially with, and I'm going to say it, AI and how COVID or the pandemic has changed how we interact and how much we rely so much on online networkship. So how has it changed over the years?
So, product partnership, it's basically sort of a new profession, or let's say a scholar. We know the partnership as partnership, but product-led partnership as a whole has changed a bit, as traditional partnerships were more about co-selling, branding, and marketing, and it did a lot of efforts towards business metrics, and product-led partnerships are really more centric about the product metrics, which we can talk about, like what are the metrics, installs, usage, but we want to impact our product, our users, and this is how it evolves. For example, at Monday, our marketplace partners, we want to enable our users with more ways to use our platform, with more ways to work.
And
So
would
basically,
this mean, and just to clarify for our audience, are you saying in terms of integration or are you saying in terms of traditional marketing but done with SaaS companies?
no, so it's more of like, yes, integrations, enriching your product capabilities, really product led. So the metrics that we measure are really product metrics, as I mentioned, like installations of apps, usage, adoption, product metrics that we see that obviously they will correlate with our business metrics, but we want to be stronger with our adoption with the users, providing them with more values.
Nice. Okay. And so, how has it changed compared to what it was then to how it is now? Is there a different, are there different strategies that are in place? Are there different tools that you're using? Do you have to use a fairly different approach to how it was before to how it is now?
So yes, we do need to think about, a partnership where we do see a product sense. Like, we need to bring the value to the customer, to the user, in terms of product. We want to see the, like, both products can work amazing together. And we do provide added value to the user, and there isn't just a justification to create a partnership only from a marketing perspective. We do want to create another way for the user to work, to adopt another method of consumption, basically.
Okay, nice. And what are some common misconceptions that people have about product led partnerships that you kind of want to clear up for when other companies who want to go into product led partnership or for somebody who's fairly new to product led partnership?
Yeah, so I think that these days partnerships are really thought of as a business KPIs, as branding, marketing, new business, sign ups for SaaS companies and stuff. But product-led partnership is like we mentioned. We want to really grow together with the existing users, offer new ways to work, and we do measure them. For example, in partnerships sometimes, and in marketing and in branding in general, those things are really hard to measure. And with product-led partnership, each partnership is being measured. We want to see the impact of each partnership.
And how do
Um,
you measure the partnership? You can just give me a random metric that you
sure.
commonly used.
Yeah. So if we did for example, Monday.com, we did a marketing, we did a partnership with one of our partners to create an app to the marketplace. We want to see if this app in the marketplace is successful. So we would measure conversion rates. We would measure installations. We would measure NPS score, which which we measure basically how satisfied are the installers, how happy our customers are with the app. So we do want to measure those exact user metrics in terms of this product.
Okay. All right. And apart from that, what other misconceptions do you see? Do you feel as though people underestimate their first or partnership led, product led partnership? Or let's say that they think, okay, all you need to do is just put the product out there, put the integration out there, and then people will come. So, what are some other common misconceptions that you kind of have to clarify with people that you're working with, or what you've seen people take for granted?
That's a great comment. Basically, partnerships, and especially with what I see with product led, you do need to work on the partnership as long as it can be, because it's not over once the app is in the marketplace live. For example, it doesn't stop there when the integration is already set, and there are always ways to keep enhancing and increasing the adoption of the product of the partnership itself. People are changing jobs, people are changing in the organizations, and if you don't keep a true relationship with all the relevant stakeholders, yes, it will impact the entire product. And you do want your partners to follow and walk with you and advance with their product alongside you. So I think that partnerships, especially product led, they need to march together. And there is always a conversation, always alignment. We always share knowledge. We always share our roadmap. We do try to create those relationships as close as possible and as transparent as we can.
Okay, so it's always a continual process. It never ends once the integration starts. Partnership, like anything else, requires a lot of work, both internally and externally. And also, again, having those conversions, having those conversations, and not just throwing the app together, but also kind of enriching each other along the process also mutually benefits each of you in that partnership. There's a lot of things that I know a couple of people don't really notice about partnership. I think people have the misconception that partnership is simply just sending an email and saying that we're going to just throw something together, put it out there, and it just scratches the surface on lead generation or, product conversions. And it's just a wider scale. And I would say for the years that you've been working and working on partnerships and learning and kind of navigating between the spaces of marketing, because it isn't just linear, what are some key tips and tools that you use to help with your partnership activities that you found have definitely enriched the process? So you can start from like point A in terms of like outreach to point C when you've executed that partnership.
Yeah, so, and also it connects to your last point, which was a great clarification. But it also like how you measure those partnerships, because like you mentioned, people are stretching the surface, but when you try to measure not as many partnerships, like that's not the way to measure it, but how impactful one partnership can be, and you measure it by the impact. So maybe you don't need that much partnerships, and you can have fewer, but which are more impactful, and then you can really invest in those relationships and
So
in those.
quality over quantity.
Exactly. And you can really achieve it. And when you talk about great partnerships, I do think you must have those quality metrics inside of them. And if we progress like into more practical tips and tools, I do think that each partnership is unique. So not having the same approach per partner. With each partner that I engage, I do lots of homework to understand their product, but also their interest. What is this company is all about? What do they care about? Do they care about more sales, or do they care about their users having the engagement or the stickiness of their product? What interests them? I try to
Almost
get
like their partnership love language in a way.
exactly, but even more than that, like I try to understand the vision of a company, like talking to more than one persona in that organization, understand how their product organization works, their marketing, and C-level and above. How do they see the company now? What's their history and where they're going forward? And understand if we can offer something that they like, they want, they would be interested of. Um, so this is like one tip that I do think, like, do your homework, understand who you are going to talk to, and what do they have to offer product wise,
Mm.
that they speak in the same language, um, and then build a unique partnership. And I can tell you that my partnerships are really different from one
And
another.
how do you, because it almost feels like a loaded phrase, how do you build a unique partnership in a sense?
How do you build a unique partnership? So these exactly metrics that we mentioned just now. Like, if we understand the company, their product stickiness is super important. So we would put more and more focus on the product side of things and scoping the integration. We would invest more and more resources in order to create something which product wise will be as valuable as it can be. And if
Mm.
you understand that this is where their heart is, and for example, we would have a blocker as a platform, we would do everything we can to provide them the infrastructure that they need to provide the best product possible. So that's something I love doing, because this is how I show my partners that I care for them and their success is super important for me, which is true. I
Right.
don't want partnerships to be engaged and we'll see on a dashboard like in half a year or a year from now that they're unsatisfied. Which leads me to another tip, which is setting expectations.
Mm.
We want to understand like what makes our partner happy. What are your goals? And it's more than like, if we spoke about like vision and high level understanding of the organization. So now we deep dive to understanding like metrics, numbers, goals. What are your expectations? How many installation? How many new users?
Mm.
What do you really care? Would this make you happy if in a Q from now you will have X amount of new users? Um, and then we know what to aim for. And then we measure this, and our partner measure this, and we speak the same language. So this is one of the best tips for I don't know, for clarifying what makes each other happy.
Okay, that's pretty good. And I think I'll go ahead and ask just two last questions. One, what's the best and the worst advice that you've ever gotten?
So I don't have a worst advice, but I have
Mhm.
the best advice that I think is like I follow almost daily. I think now, like each and every one of us, we have our bad days and good days, and we all have those moments that something is not going as we wanted. And we do think like an entire project or a partnership, which is a mid long term investment for us, it can really ruin our motivation if something goes wrong and we think it's not going to be happening. The best advice I got, and I really follow it, is like achieve those small wins. For each huge project, we win small milestones during the way, and we sometimes just forget it. We don't care about those small wins. We don't measure them, but they are small wins. Each conversation, each Zoom session, each email which is positive email, it's a small win that really leads us to the goal, to the end goal. So really go forward with those small wins day by day, and you will get into the full win of your project sooner or later.
Nice.
It's also
And
a
so
motivational
it is, it is. And so I would say, what does Monday.com have, anything about Monday.com that you'd like to share with our audience? And where can they find you if they want to learn more information about what you do, who you are, or connect with you for partnerships?
So first of all, I'm welcoming everyone to ask questions and really engage on LinkedIn. I'm super engaged. These days, I'm building the Monday X Accelerator here at Monday.com, where we enable companies which want to develop new business on top of our platform and create new apps, engage with new businesses, and sell their apps in our marketplace. we have an amazing program, and we really want to help new developers create a new revenue channel in their organization or in a new team. This is what we do right now, and you can find a lot about it. Just Google Monday.com apps accelerator. So that's where we at, and I'd love to help to anyone having any type of question.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Amir. I appreciate you taking the time to share some of those gems and your best advice. And thank you to everyone who joined us and who's going to be viewing this video on By Accident or Design. We'll see you guys on our next episode where we'll have another amazing guest. So until then, have a good one.
Thank you, Victoria. Thank you, everyone.